The velvet ring box struck the marble altar with a crack that silenced 200 guests. On the screen behind Octavia, Greco footage froze on Catherine Rowan, leaving Lucien Varelli's office with the ruby ring in her hand. "Your curvy secretary stole the proposal meant for me," Octavia announced. Then she forged the transfer papers and ran. No one moved. No one defended the woman who had managed Lucien's empire for 8 years. Lucien stared at the empty chair reserved for Kate. Then, instead of ordering a hunt, he looked at Octavia's hand. "Take off the ring." Her face tightened. "Lucien, now." She obeyed. He turned the band beneath the light and found the V1912 mark cut too cleanly, its edges burned by a modern laser. A duplicate. The real ring was with Kate. His phone vibrated. A message from her number appeared. "I took what should have been mine." Lucien went still. Kate had drafted every ownership record in his organization. She never wrote mine without naming the legal object. Behind him, Marcus Thorne urged the officiant to continue. One completed vow would activate the annex, carrying Kate's forged signature and hand emergency control to Marcus. Lucien closed the false ring inside his fist. "The wedding is over." Gasps broke across the hall. He faced the sealed doors. "Lock this building not to find my secretary, but to find who needed her to disappear." 7 hours earlier, Kate opened her work bag and found the real ring beside a document she had never signed. 7 hours before Lucien Varelli was expected to marry Octavia Greco. Catherine Rowan sat alone in the records room beneath the East Wing, checking the final document transfer. Weddings made people careless. Power made them worse. Kate trusted neither. Her charcoal suit fit across her curves as she compared page numbers, seals, and timestamps. 8 years beside Lucien had taught her that betrayal rarely announced itself with a gun. It arrived as a missing initial, a substituted page, or a sentence written in the wrong person's voice. At 10:06 a.m., she signed the handover ledger and slid the original marriage annex into a gray archival sleeve. No emergency authority, no hidden proxy, no clause granting Marcus Thorne control after the vows. She stamped the sleeve and placed the carbon receipt inside her work bag. Something hard struck the bottom. Kate frowned. She had packed the bag herself. Beneath her notebook rested a black velvet box. When she opened it, a dark ruby caught the light. Inside the band, 2 letters had been engraved by hand. CR under the ring lay a strip of Lucien's stationery. Not until she is free to say no. For one dangerous second, Kate remembered late meetings, silent coffees, and the way Lucien looked at her before decisions he trusted no one else to understand. Then she forced herself back to the table. A hidden ring was not a promise. It was a choice made without her. She lifted the box and found another document beneath it. The annex carried her electronic signature, but its final page contained a new clause once the marriage was completed. Emergency authority would pass to Marcus Thorne. Kate checked the timestamp. 10:04 a.m., 2 minutes before she had signed the untouched original downstairs. Her terminal chimed. Access confirmed. Lucien Varelli private safe. Authorized credential Catherine Rowan. Kate looked toward the ceiling. Lucien's office was 3 floors above her. She was still holding her access card. Kate photographed the forged annex, then placed both versions beneath the lamp. The original had a gray fiber through its lower margin. The replacement carried the same letterhead page count and imitation of her signature. Only the language betrayed it. Kate had written every emergency protocol Lucien used. She never granted authority without limits review and an expiration date. The new clause gave Marcus Thorne unrestricted control once the vows were completed. No deadline, no oversight, no appeal. This was not a marriage amendment. It was a succession plan. She sealed the original inside its sleeve and reached for Lucien's line. Before she could call, a message appeared from his number. Remain in the records room. Do not contact anyone until I arrive. Kate read it twice. Lucien never wrote remain to her. He wrote stay. He never issued an order without naming the threat. Someone had copied his number but not his habits. She shut down the terminal and moved toward the door. Footsteps approached. The handle turned first. Octavia Greco entered in an ivory silk robe with 2 attendants. Her gaze moved from Kate to the velvet box. She paused, then covered her mouth. That ring belongs in Lucien's private safe. Kate did not move. How do you know where he kept it? Octavia's expression tightened before becoming wounded for the witnesses. Because I am the woman he is marrying. One attendant noticed the initials. Octavia crossed the room, lifted the ring, and read them aloud. C.R. The room had been prepared, the open door, the witnesses, the false annex, the ring placed where Kate would find it. I found it in my bag, Kate said. Of course you did. Octavia looked over Kate's tailored suit. 8 years near his office and you finally confused access with affection. Put it down. Octavia closed her fingers around the ruby and reached toward the wall alarm. Then she smiled. How long have you been stealing things meant for me? Octavia pressed the alarm. 2 guards reached the records room, followed by Enzo Falco and 3 staff. Their eyes settled on the ruby in Octavia's hand, the open box, and the forged annex beside Kate's bag. The scene had been arranged to explain itself. Search her, Octavia ordered. Enzo looked at Kate. Your access card and phone. Kate placed both on the table but stepped back when a guard reached for her jacket. Inspect the bag under camera. No one touches me. Octavia laughed, still giving instructions. Preserving evidence. The bag contained Lucien's stationery, the ring box, a copied key schedule, and an envelope marked Private Octavia Greco. Inside were photographs of Lucien leaving Kate's apartment on 3 nights. Kate recognized the dates. Lucien had been across the city. The images were false. Octavia raised one photograph. A secretary in a tailored suit mistook being useful for being chosen. Kate felt the insult strike her body, her position, and 8 years of work. She did not defend herself. When did you learn the ring was in my bag? Octavia's smile faltered. When I saw it. You asked how long I had been stealing before the box was opened. Silence shifted. Enzo glanced toward the wall camera. Its status light was dark. Kate checked her phone. The security application showed her device had approved remote access at 9:58. Her physical phone had been in the records room since 9:30. Then her access card vibrated on the table. A second credential bearing her identification had just entered the West Service corridor. Kate understood the trap. The ring made her jealous. The annex made her corrupt. The photographs made her intimate with Lucien. The duplicate card would make whatever happened next appear to be her choice. She reached for her bag. Enzo blocked her. Until this is resolved, you stay here. Kate looked at the dead camera, then at Octavia's satisfied face. No, she said. That is exactly where they need me. Enzo's arm remained across the doorway. Kate looked at the fire control panel beside the dead camera. Gray door had been designed for witnesses trapped inside compromised systems. Its rule was simple: the threatened person could not trust the chain that failed them. She lifted the concealed latch beneath the panel. A maintenance alarm sounded through the east wing. Gas suppression fault, one guard said. The records room doors unlocked. Staff moved into the corridor. Octavia seized Kate's bag. She is not leaving with evidence. Kate removed the ruby ring, the original annex, and the carbon receipt before Octavia could close it, then preserved the rest under camera. Enzo caught her wrist. "Release me. I cannot protect you if you disappear. You cannot protect me while someone is using your system to write my movements." He let go. Kate left her phone and access card on the evidence table. She hid the ring box beneath her jacket, sealed the annex against her body, and entered the evacuation line. At the first junction, she turned into the document transfer lift. Only 3 people knew it opened below the loading floor. Kate had written the protocol. Inside, she reversed her charcoal jacket, exposing its pale maintenance lining. She tied her hair beneath a service scarf, changed into flat shoes, stored behind the panel, and placed her phone inside a copper-lined case. Gray door did not erase a person. It separated identity from the devices used to track it. The lift stopped beside an unmarked archive bay. Kate stepped out carrying a locked document crate and passed 2 guards who saw only an employee moving wedding files. Behind her, Octavia shouted, "Find her." Kate reached the freight tunnel and opened the crate's secondary compartment. Inside rested the ring, the original annex, the carbon ledger, and an offline recorder. At 10:21 a.m., the final camera showed Catherine Rowan entering the transfer lift. No camera recorded her leaving it. By noon, the chapel had filled with people who treated marriage as a contract. Lucien stood beside the altar while Marcus delivered papers. Kate's chair remained empty. Octavia arrived wearing the duplicate ruby. Before the vows, she activated the screen. Footage showed Kate leaving Lucien's office with the ring. Then came images of the forged annex and her abandoned phone. "She stole the proposal meant for me," Octavia said. Then she altered the succession terms and ran. The room went silent. Lucien ignored the screen. He looked at Kate's chair, then at Octavia's hand. "Take off the ring." Her smile tightened. "Lucien, now." She placed it in his palm. He turned the band beneath the altar light. The V1912 mark was perfect. Too perfect. His mother's ring had been engraved by hand. Its mark carried a shallow break through the second stroke. This one had clean edges burned by a laser. "A copy," he said. Marcus stepped closer. "The ceremony can proceed while security handles the theft." Lucien's phone vibrated. "I took what should have been mine." For 8 years, Kate had written contracts. She never used mine without naming the property or authority attached to it. She did not write this. Octavia's control cracked. "You are defending a woman who disappeared." Marcus opened the annex. "One completed vow activates emergency continuity." Lucien read the clause carrying Kate's signature. It transferred authority to Marcus when the marriage became valid. The ring made Kate look jealous. The annex made her look corrupt. Her disappearance made both stories believable. Lucien closed his hand around the duplicate. "The wedding is over." Gasps moved through the chapel. Marcus stepped forward. "You cannot destroy an alliance for a secretary." Lucien faced the doors. "Lock the building. No one leaves." Octavia almost smiled until he added, "We are not hunting Catherine Rowan. We are finding whoever needed her gone before these vows were spoken." The chapel doors locked with a mechanical thud. Guests turned toward Lucien, waiting for rage. He gave them procedure instead. "Preserve every device, separate the wedding staff from the family delegations, no deletions, no private calls." Enzo issued orders. Octavia remained beside the altar, one bare hand clenched around her gown. "You humiliated me before both families," she said. "You arrived wearing a counterfeit. I wore the ring I was given." Marcus stepped between them. "The duplicate proves only that Catherine replaced it." Lucien looked at him. "Then explain how she copied a mark known only to my jeweler and my mother's insurer." The room shifted. Marcus recovered. Your judgment is compromised. Under the continuity charter, the council may appoint an interim head when personal attachment threatens an alliance. Several elders exchanged glances. Kate was no longer only a thief. She was evidence that Lucien could be removed. Enzo returned with a tablet. The East Wing cameras lost 12 minutes between 9:54 and 10:06. Only that corridor, the private office records junction and West Service Passage. Convenient, Octavia said. The route Kate used. Enzo's jaw tightened. We do not know that. Marcus opened the voting register. The families need stability. Complete the ceremony, suspend the annex, and investigate afterward. Lucien took the forged document from him. A false transfer cannot be suspended. It can only be activated or exposed. A technician entered with the safe access report. The credential belonged to Kate. The authorization code belonged to Lucien. I never issued it, Lucien said. The system says you did. For the first time, Enzo looked less certain of the building than of the people inside it. Another line appeared. Master Override accepted El Varelli. Lucien stared at his stolen authority. Someone had not merely framed Kate. They had entered the system as him. The jeweler arrived through a side entrance, carrying an insurance case. Signor Bellini had served the Varelli family for 32 years. He examined the duplicate under a lens, then placed it beside an archived photograph. This was made recently, he said. The ruby is synthetic. The V1912 mark was copied by laser. Lucien set the false ring down. Who requested the specifications? Bellini hesitated. Marcus Thorne asked for the insurance file 6 weeks ago. He said the council required updated valuations. Marcus stood across the chapel beneath Enzo's guard. His face revealed nothing. And the original, Lucien asked. Bellini opened the order. You brought it to me 7 months ago. Your mother's ruby reset in a new band. You chose the initials. Enzo read the page. CR. The letters looked more dangerous in ink. Bellini continued. 3 weeks ago, Miss Greco visited my workshop. She claimed she wanted the wedding band matched to the heirloom. She already knew the engraving. Octavia stepped forward. Because Lucien intended to humiliate me with it. No, Lucien said. I intended no one to know. The admission moved through the room faster than an accusation. Enzo dismissed Bellini, then faced Lucien in the sacristy. You ordered a proposal ring for Kate while negotiating this marriage. Yes. Did Kate know? No. Did Octavia know she was entering a marriage to a man planning another future? No. Lucien looked at the note copied in Bellini's file. Not until she is free to say no. He had believed waiting made him honorable, yet he had still purchased the answer before asking the question. I would have ended the alliance first, he said, when Lucien had no date. Enzo's voice lowered. Kate managed your secrets. Octavia was expected to become your wife. You decided what both women could survive, then called silence protection. Lucien closed the order. Enzo held his gaze. When were you planning to let either woman choose? The missing 12 minutes had not erased everything. Enzo pulled data from systems the intruder had ignored. Floor sensors, elevator weight logs, climate controls, and the mechanical counter inside Lucien's safe. At 9:59, a credential marked Catherine Rowan entered the private office. At the same moment, the records room platform registered Kate's weight 3 floors below. She could not be in both places, Enzo said. Lucien studied the sequence. The copied card opened the corridor. His stolen override opened the safe. The camera blackout covered the hand between them. Then the safe's internal counter revealed one item removed at 10:02 and another returned at 10:05. The real ring out, Lucien said. The duplicate in. Enzo enlarged the service log. A maintenance trolley crossed the West Passage during the blackout under a vendor code approved by Marcus's department. Across the city, Kate watched Helena Say's archive office from behind the window of a closed cafe. Two unfamiliar men stood across the street pretending to study a parking meter. A black sedan had circled the block twice. Helena's door remained locked. Kate did not approach. Gray door required the witness to abandon any destination the enemy could predict. She entered a station through one entrance left, through a delivery corridor, and moved the original annex into a sealed deposit drawer registered under a dormant legal trust. The carbon receipt went elsewhere. The ring stayed with her. 3 pieces, 3 locations. No single capture could erase the chain. She reached a rented room above a tailor's shop and activated the offline recorder. Only then did she remove the copper case from her bag. Inside was an emergency handset. Its number was known to Kate, Helena, and Enzo alone. The screen lit before she touched it. Incoming call Marcus Thorne. Kate stared at the name. Marcus should not have known the phone existed. Someone inside Gray door had opened a 4th door. Kate let the emergency phone ring until it stopped. Marcus called again. She activated the offline recorder and answered. "You were always too intelligent to run without a plan," he said. "Return the ring and sign a statement confirming you altered the annex. A car will take you to a new identity before sunset. And if I refuse, Lucien loses the council. You lose his protection. Octavia loses patience." Marcus knew the number, but his confidence revealed more. He believed the leak came from a person. It had come from a page. Years earlier, when Kate designed Gray Door, Enzo approved an alert whenever an emergency line was activated during a leadership crisis. The notice went to security, legal, and financial continuity. Marcus's office. The system had not betrayed her. An old permission had. "Your offer requires me to confess to a document created before my signature existed," Kate said. "It also requires you to know I have the original. You have a copy?" "No, I have the page your transfer clause replaced." Silence sharpened. "Bring it to Helena's archive," Marcus said. "You already placed men outside it." His exhale confirmed the surveillance. "The council can resume the wedding without Lucien. Octavia needs only a continuity vote and an authorized officiant. Once the union is recognized, your signature becomes the bridge to emergency control." Kate understood. Lucien had stopped one ceremony, not the mechanism behind it. She removed the recorder's memory card, sealed it inside a numbered evidence envelope, and wrote the time by hand. "You built this around the assumption that I would run. I built it around the certainty that no one believes a secretary over a bride." Kate ended the call and photographed the routing page that had sent Marcus her activation alert. At the bottom appeared the approval history. Authorized by Enzo Falco. Kate stared at the name. Enzo had opened the door years ago. Marcus had simply waited beside it. Octavia requested the council chamber before Lucien could resume the investigation. She entered without the bridal veil. The ivory gown looked less like a promise than armor. "You want motive," she said. "I knew about the ring 3 weeks ago. I knew the initials were not mine. And I knew Lucien would dissolve an alliance because his secretary had become indispensable." Lucien stood across the table. "Indispensable is not the same as consenting." Octavia laughed. "Consent is a luxury men like you invoke after arranging everyone else's future." Several elders looked toward him. "I was raised for this marriage," she continued. "Every lesson prepared me to stand beside Lucien." Then I learned a woman with access to his calendar had received the choice I was never offered. You were wronged, Lucien said. That did not give you the right to forge Kate's name. I did not forge it, but you planted the ring. Her silence answered. Octavia distributed copies of Bellini's order. CR appeared above Lucien's signature. 7 months ago, while negotiating marriage with my family, Lucien commissioned a proposal ring for Catherine Rowan. He concealed it from his bride, his counsel, and the woman whose answer he had imagined. The room changed. Kate was no longer the only person on trial. Marcus rose beneath guard. A leader who hides a second proposal while binding 2 families cannot claim sound judgment. Lucien could have denied the meaning. He did not. I loved Kate before I admitted it. A murmur passed through the council. Octavia's eyes shone, but her voice stayed sharp. And still you let me walk toward that altar. Yes, the honesty cost him more than a lie would have. An elder opened the continuity charter. Another requested a vote on removal. Octavia looked at Lucien. You call me cruel for planting love in her bag. You planted a future in both our lives and never asked either of us to carry it. The first council seal turned against him. The removal vote landed beside Lucien's name. He did not contest it. He asked the clerk to record his statement before seals were cast. I commissioned the ring, he said. I concealed it from Kate and my intentions from Octavia. I allowed a political marriage to advance while telling myself silence protected everyone. Marcus leaned back, satisfied. Every admission weakened Lucien's judgment. Kate remained my employee while I imagined a future she had never agreed to. I controlled the information, the timing, and the risks. I did not lie to her. That does not mean I told her the truth. The chamber went still. Octavia looked at him as though the words arrived years too late. An elder asked, Are you admitting Catherine Rowan influenced your decisions? I'm admitting I used my authority to decide what she was permitted to know. Marcus rose. Then the continuity charter is clear. Personal attachment compromised leadership. Lucien faced him. My failure does not make your forged annex lawful. It makes her motive believable. No. Lucien placed Bellini's order beside the counterfeit ring. It makes my silence expensive. It does not make Kate a thief. He ordered every message calendar alteration and security approval involving the wedding released to independent review. The files would expose his secrecy as completely as Marcus's scheme. Enzo lowered his voice. That may cost you the council. It already cost Kate her name. Another seal turned against him. Lucien could have claimed he stopped the wedding for love. The room might have romanticized the choice and excused the power behind it. He refused. I did not cancel the vows because Catherine belongs beside me, he said. She belongs to no one. I canceled them because evidence was forged in her name. The clerk recorded every word. By the time Lucien finished, he had fewer votes, less authority, and no guarantee Kate would return. For the first time, he accepted all 3. Marcus found the backup archive at 4:12 p.m. Kate saw his reflection in the steel shelving before he spoke. 2 men remained outside the cage door, beyond the independent cameras. You divided the evidence, Marcus said. Clever. But the council will finish the transfer before your pieces are reunited. Kate kept the offline recorder running inside her jacket. Then you should be at this council. I came for the witness page. He placed a prepared confession on the table. It stated that Kate had forged the annex out of jealousy, stolen the ring, and invented Grey Door to escape responsibility. Sign it, Marcus said. You leave alive, funded, and forgotten. You still think disappearance means surrender. Kate stepped toward the inventory terminal and entered the number from his visitor badge. The archive cage locked. Red lights activated. Every camera began transmitting to Helena's external server. Marcus pulled the handle. "Open this." "No." One of his men reached the override panel outside. It rejected the code and stamped the attempt into the public evidence log. Kate lifted the recorder. "You offered me money, a false identity, and silence. Now repeat the part about using my signature to control the council." Marcus's expression changed. Sirens sounded below. Enzo arrived with an independent marshal and Helena not Varelli guards. "I can take you back safely," Enzo told Kate. "No. You can escort the evidence. You do not escort me anywhere." Enzo accepted the boundary. Kate gave Helena the recording and stated her conditions: an official recorded session, Lucien would not speak for her, and every exit would remain open. "If one door locks," she said, "I leave." Outside, a black Varelli car waited. Kate walked past it. She entered her own car, placed the ruby ring beside the sealed recorder, and drove toward the council under her own name. The council chamber doors stood open when Kate arrived. She entered in her own charcoal suit, not the dress selected for the wedding staff. Helena followed with the evidence register. Enzo remained behind them. Lucien rose. Kate looked at him once. "You agreed not to speak for me." He sat down. Octavia's gaze dropped to the black velvet box in Kate's hand. "Search her." "No," Kate said. She placed the box in the center of the table and opened it herself. The real ruby caught the light. "You do not get to turn my body into another room you control." The clerk started the official recording. Kate removed the ring, then laid the carbon receipt beside it. "You did not plant this to prove I loved Lucien. You planted it so every document I carried would look stolen." She identified the evidence in order: the hand-cut break in the V1912 mark, the synthetic duplicate, the safe counter showing one object removed, and another returned, the floor sensor, proving she was 3 levels below when her copied credential opened Lucien's office. Enzo submitted the 12-minute camera gap, and the vendor code approved through Marcus's department. Kate played the recorded call. Marcus's voice filled the chamber, offering money, a new identity, and freedom in exchange for a false confession. Octavia's face hardened. "A recording can be edited." "That is why the memory card was sealed before witnesses," Helena said. Kate displayed the routing page that exposed the old gray door alert. She did not hide Enzo's approval. "He created the vulnerability," she said. "Marcus exploited it. Responsibility is not the same as conspiracy." Enzo lowered his head. Marcus looked toward the exits, then at the evidence table. "You still do not have the original annex," he said. Kate closed the velvet box. "No," she replied. "I made certain you would believe that." The chamber doors opened again. Helena turned toward the approaching footsteps. Helena stepped aside. A bonded courier entered carrying a steel case registered to the dormant trust Kate had used that afternoon. The clerk verified the seals before Helena opened it. Inside lay the original annex. Kate did not touch it. Read the final page. The clerk compared both versions aloud. The original ended with joint review of 48-hour limit and no transfer to Marcus. The replacement added emergency authority after the marriage became valid. Helena angled the page beneath the lamp. "My embossed seal crosses the gray fiber. The forged version copied the image, not the pressure." Kate placed her carbon receipt beside it. The timestamp showed the untouched annex entered custody at 10:06 after the false version appeared under her electronic signature. Marcus stood. She could have manufactured the receipt. The recorder played his own voice, offering Kate a new identity if she confessed. No one answered him. Octavia moved toward this door. Enzo placed the velvet box beneath an evidence light. A silver thread clung inside its hinge. Helena removed it with forceps. Wedding-fitting lace. Kate looked at Octavia's sleeves. The same silver pattern edged her cuffs. Octavia shook her head. That proves I handled a box. It proves you handled the hidden hinge, Kate said. And before it was opened, you asked how long I had been stealing. The corridor recording preserved her exact words. The council voided the annex and every continuity vote tied to it. Marcus was transferred to independent custody. Octavia lost her family seat and all access to Alliance accounts. The 12 missing minutes, copied credential, false message, duplicate ring, and forged signature were entered under one finding: Catherine Rowan did not steal, alter, or flee. The clerk restored Kate's name. Lucien watched her, but kept his promise not to speak. Kate closed the evidence box herself. The vows were never completed, she said. But they still became evidence. 2 days after the council restored her name, Kate entered Lucien's office carrying one sheet of paper. Her desk had been returned exactly as she left it. The calendar was open. Her access card waited beside a new title: Director of Executive Integrity. Lucien remained standing. You would answer to an independent committee with full authority over records and succession documents. Kate placed her resignation over the title. No. He looked at the page but did not touch it. You earned more than the position you had. That is not the problem. She crossed to the safe. The replacement lock now required 3 signatures. Lucien had changed the system, but the room still belonged to him. For 8 years, my future depended on whether you trusted me, Kate said. A larger office does not change whose signature keeps the door open. I am not asking you to return as before. You are still asking me to build independence inside your authority. Lucien accepted the words without defense. Kate opened the velvet box and placed the ruby ring on his desk. His expression tightened. It was made for you. It was made without me. I know. This cannot become payment for what happened. It cannot reward loyalty, replace an apology, or turn the council's decision into a love story. Lucien closed the box. Kate handed him a proposal of her own. Rowan Archive and Integrity would operate independently with separate financing, external custody, and the right to audit Varelli systems without reporting through Lucien. You may hire us, she said. You may not own us. He read every condition, and if I refuse, then I leave with my name and nothing else. Lucien signed. Kate collected her notebook, removed her nameplate, and walked to the door. Kate. She stopped. He did not ask her to stay. I am sorry. She looked back. Then let the next choice be mine before you prepare the answer. Kate left the ring behind. This time Lucien did not follow. 9 months later, Lucien arrived at Rowan Archive and Integrity without guards, a driver, or an unannounced appointment. Kate's firm occupied 2 floors above an independent records vault. Varelli accounts were only one file among many. 3 external directors approved every contract. No key in the building answered to Lucien. Kate met him in the conference room. You requested 30 minutes. I did. He placed the black velvet box on the table but kept it closed. The Varelli Council had changed since the wedding. Emergency access required 3 signatures. Gray door alerts no longer reached financial continuity. Enzo's authority was independently reviewed. None of those reforms entitled Lucien to anything from her. I did not come to offer you a position, he said. Good. Or protection. Better. A small smile passed between them, then disappeared beneath the weight of what remained. Lucien rested his hand beside the box. May I ask you a personal question? Kate studied him. The old Lucien would have prepared the room, the ring, and the answer before revealing the choice. This man waited. Yes. He opened the box. The ruby still carried the hand-cut break in V 1912. Inside the band, CR, remained unchanged. I love you, he said. But that does not create an obligation, erase what I did, or make your life part of mine. Would you consider building a marriage with me? Kate did not reach for the ring. My company stays independent. Yes. My finances stay separate. Yes. No decision about my safety work or name is made before I am asked. Yes. And no locked door will ever be called love. Lucien's answer came without hesitation. Agreed. Kate lifted the ring from the box herself. Only then did she offer him her hand. When he placed it on her finger, no council watched, no alliance activated, and no signature changed ownership. This time, Kate did not disappear. This time, he had left every door open. Octavia believed a ring could decide which woman deserved to stand beside power. Marcus believed a secretary's signature could be copied because no one would care what she had written. Lucien's failure was quieter. He called silence protection while choosing what Kate was allowed to know. But Kate preserved what their plan needed, the room to forget. The true ruby laser-cut duplicate, 12 missing minutes, copied credential, false message, and pressure mark across the gray fiber restored more than her innocence. They restored her authority over her name. Kate did not win because Lucien canceled a wedding for her or offered the ring to the right woman. She won when she presented the evidence herself, left the position tying her future to his signature, and built a life he could enter only by invitation. The ring became love only after it stopped being proof, payment, or power, and became a question she was completely free to refuse.